So how many times do you think I took my folding kayaks out on the water this season? So here in Pennsylvania, we basically have from the middle to end of April to about the middle to end of September to safely get out on the water if you don't have a dry suit like I do. I'm gonna go over at that in this video. I'm also gonna show you some of the best places that I kayaked this year and all the different environments that I took these folding kayaks. Also, I'm making this video because now is an excellent time with the holidays coming to pick up a folding kayak of your own. They have some fantastic sales right now where for under $300, you're able to get the Pro or the Junior model. And then they also have some deals on refurbished kayaks. So if you ever want to pick up your own kayak, now's a great time to do that kind of shopping. And you can go through my affiliate link. I have a 10% discount for my viewers. The other thing is when you click through the affiliate link, sometimes it's better to use the 10% discount. Sometimes it's better to take the discount that's coming from Tucktec. Whatever way you do it, if you click through my link, our channel gets a little commission. So I would encourage you to just play around with the options, find the best deal. Sometimes it's going to be that 10%. Sometimes it's going to be going with the sale from the website. So compare, get yourself the best deal possible. So the absolute best place I kayaked this year had to be Tucktec State Park in Virginia. This was a super unique kayaking experience where I went out in the bay and I kayaked among an old fleet of concrete ghost ships. So these were concrete ships that were sunk to create a breakwater here in the harbor. The pelicans, the bird life, kind of like the eerie feeling of nature taking back over the ships was really, really unique. In my folding kayak, I had to be careful that I went on a day where there was not a small craft advisory, where conditions were calm, and I visited the fleet of ships that was closest to the shoreline. There's also an outer thing of ships, but I didn't feel confident going to that. But this was definitely the most unique kayak experience. The kayak handled great in the bay waters, and I was able to get super close to the ships and observe all the wildlife on them. I think the best lake I paddled on this year would be at Hills Creek State Park near Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. This was just such a calm and a chill place to kayak. The water was so calm and so easy to paddle here. I saw a bald eagle. I saw a little baby fawn by the water's edge. There was lily pads. There was a little bit of changing leaf color. And this was just a relaxing place to paddle. They had an easy place to launch the kayak. Another really popular kayaking spot for me was Delaware Seashore State Park on the Bayside by Burton's Island. I actually kayaked here 4 different times this summer. So one time was on a really hot day in the early morning, right as the sun was rising. That was absolutely beautiful and just saw a ton of birds and wildlife. Then another time was at the first kayaking I did of the season, where I took my kayak out in the bay, and that was also a beautiful experience. A little windy, but still a really nice day to explore around the little marshy islands in the bay. And then I also went out here 2 other times. I took my sister and her 2 kids kayaking out here. And then I also went kayaking with an uncle and a cousin. So another spot I kayaked 2 different times this summer was Trap Pond State Park in Laurel, Delaware. It's amazing. All the turtles, all the wildlife you'll see here. And you can actually kayak among the bald cypress trees. You can explore the main part of the lake, or you can travel all the way down to the Terrapin Branch Water Trail, which is what we did in both these times. So in situations where my whole family is going kayaking, we bring out kind of like the whole fleet of Tucktec's. I usually take the Junior. My husband usually takes the Pro model, and sometimes we'll also bring the ultralight, the Boto, with us. So my husband and I paddled Trap Pond once, and then we also went with our daughter because she absolutely loves it here. And this was really nice to kayak with her right before she left for college. Another really cool spot I kayaked this year was the Broadkill River near Milton, Delaware, and my husband and I kayaked this one. Super easy to paddle if you time it with the changing tides. We saw a lot of herons and egrets and really calm waters. There's also a really nice place to park and launch your kayak right in the Milton Memorial Park. I also kayaked at Gifford Pinchot State Park. This was a really nice spot to kayak because I was here for a content creator meetup, and you actually, the little cottage we were in, you actually could see the water right there of the lake. So it was super convenient to launch from here. Nice calm waters and just beautiful to paddle that lake. And my very last paddle of the season was at the Rehoboth Lewis Canal, and I kayaked up to the Thompson Island Nature Preserve. This was one of those times where the canal was just very strong current, even though I tried to time it right. So I got a good workout paddling up to the Thompson Island Preserve, and then I was able to float back pretty easily to where I started. But the canal is a really interesting place to paddle. So I really do love these kayaks. In a 6-month span, we used these 11 different times. And in a lot of the situations, we had multiple people kayaking with us. So we had out all 3 of the kayaks. But it was just a great season for kayaking. Winter is kind of a great time to pick up a folding kayak, even if you live in an area with cold weather like I do, because you will spend your whole winter dreaming and planning about all the places you're gonna go kayaking. And if you're lucky enough to live somewhere where the weather is mild or warm and you're able to kayak all year round, then you can get started right away. Our family got our first folding kayaks years ago as a Christmas gift, and they were one of the best gifts we ever have gotten. If you want to see more about the folding kayaks, I have a whole playlist that shows like assembly information. It shows the different models. It shows all the different times we've used them. So you can go and check that out as well if you need some more information. This is always a sad time of year for me because I usually keep a kayak in the trunk of my car for when I'm out hiking and a great kayaking opportunity presents itself. I just moved the kayak from the trunk into the garage. So I've got all my kayaks stored away for the winter, and I'm always a little bit sad when I have to do that because I love being out on the water so much. But I'm starting to think about where I want to go next year and making plans, and I'll be patiently waiting for spring.